roads, the road service. So I'm glad to see you guys are talking about it anyhow. Thank you.
Any further discussion then? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Moving on then to the Clearview Phase 4 project. I'll entertain a motion to authorize interim borough manager to execute the work authorization for Gateway Engineers for the Clearview Phase 4 project for an amount not to exceed $25,000.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I've asked Rick to just give council a brief overview of where we are with the Clearview project and how this phase fits into the multi-phase project. Not a whole lot of open items for discussion, just more of an update.
Thank you. Before I go over the drawing, let me just give you a recap of costs that we've been through over the past several years. If you remember, phase 1 cost, the completed cost was $229,000, and the grant match was about $100,000. And that also included reimbursement for the engineering type services. So there was a $70,000 construction grant and a $35,000 soft cost grant. So of the $229,000, it cost the borough $124,000 that year. Next phase was $266,000 for completion. The grant match was $35,000, so the borough cost was $230,000. Last year was completed cost of $260,000, which are matching grants of approximately $100,000 again, and that cost the borough $159,000. So this is the final year that we'll be getting a grant match. The total grant was about $300,000, and so far you've only spent $124,000, $230,000, and $159,000. You add those together, that is about $500,000 roughly. So this year, we're estimating that the cost for the construction is going to be about $281,000, with a grant match of about $57,000. So that puts the cost for the borough at $224,000. This is year 4 of a 6-year program. Now, the grants won't be matched anymore because we've done all of the environmental work that we were getting the Growing Greener money for. So technically, we wouldn't necessarily have to finish phase 5 and phase 6. I'll talk about those in a minute, but just wanted to go over that recap. So it's been very, very cost effective to get the work done. You've all seen the end product compared to what was there. It's a great enhancement, I think, to the community, as well as some superior stormwater control when the project will be completed. So if you turn to the map, if you look now at phase 4, it picks up at phase 3 by Harris Avenue, and it runs just past that paper alley. There are 2 large oak trees near that intersection. We'll have a similar situation with the 4 that we dealt with before. These seem to be a little further away from the edge of the road, and the road's a little wider, so we're just going to go ahead and incorporate that avoidance technique that we did last time so that we don't have problems with hurting the trees, or I should say we minimize the potential of hurting those trees. So that's going to be a reconstruction of the entire roadway. If you see the heavy dashed line, that is a 48-inch diameter storage tank. That's part of the green design and retaining stormwater flow so that it doesn't hit the street, hit the inlets, and run right to the streams. So that's part of the green technology. The smaller dashed lines are traditional storm sewers, inlets and storm sewers controlling the flow on Clearview. And if you look to the right where the phase 4 and phase 3 line meets, just to the left of that you see a line coming perpendicular from Clearview Avenue. That is a drainage swale, it's an overflow swale, that if the system becomes overwhelmed with a large storm event, it will flow out of the system and into a rock buttress there that will pick up that flow, and there it'll flow into the existing swale down by the trail that runs parallel to Clearview Avenue. So that's all part of the design, that having an overflow outlet like that is part of the design. What's ironic is once that swale runs all the way to the end of where Clearview, it crosses Clearview, it goes back into the combined sewer system. So in any event, the system is only designed for, I think it's a 2-year storm event. Anything larger than that is going to trigger those overflows, and that water is going to go back to wherever it went, prior to having the project. So really what this does is takes care of a majority of the storm events, but the cost to design for a 5 or a 10 or a 100-year storm event is just overwhelming. So this was the optimized cost associated with designing, was the 2-year storm. So in any event, this is year 4 of the 6-year program. And if you look to the left of the phase 4 line, you see phase 5. There's another 850 feet of street before Clearview ends. That cost is, let's see, yeah, it's about another $500,000 to finish that, and it's not, there wouldn't be any grant money for that. So that'll just be something we'll have to tackle next year. No need to get into it now. The funds are set, the grants are set. We're going to have to apply for another year extension on the grant, but we knew that all along. This is the final year. We'll get that extension, then we won't be able to get any more extensions. That's why we're making sure that all the grant money gets used before it does finally expire. And if for some reason the bids come in better than we're estimating and we use less of the grant, then we'll make another application to pick up whatever dollar is left in that grant, offset it to the engineering costs like we've done in the past. So we're able to take a lot of that money and get them to allow us to spend it on the engineering to get it spent quicker, to get your money reimbursed quicker than having to wait and get it in 4 or 5 years. And one last thing, there's approximately $44,000 that's been retained from the grant payments. So after this is complete, then we'll do a final reimbursement and get that $44,000 that would make out the total $300,000 in grants for the project. So tonight, we're asking to get approval on the work authorization for the engineering, which the engineering's been pretty typical for each of the phases. It's around $25,000 to do the detailed design of work on this project and get this out to bid. Same logic as the paving program, the sooner is better. That's all I have. Any questions?
Speaking of getting out to bid, when did we get out to bid last year on paving?
Do you remember when?
Paving was a little bit later in the year, I believe.
Do you remember when he started?
We started paving last year?
No, when he started the construction work.
For Clearview or for paving?
Just
Clearview.
Paving or Clearview, were they both bid
Clearview
at the
started
same
in
time?
June and
Okay.
paving started July, I believe, or August. It was a little bit later.
When do you anticipate, based on tonight's action?
We have, in talking with Brian, who's the PM, he was saying that within 2 weeks, we could have the design, or we could have the advertisement ready to go. And I think we were looking at the April, your first meeting in April to bring you the bids to have you approve.
And going, just to state the obvious, approving those bids in April instead of July? Benefits are,
Absolutely. The sooner the better. The contractors haven't started, but by April, they'll be booking work for the spring. So that if you get out beyond the spring, contractors are booked and you'll pay a high premium to get them to do your work.
Don't even look at them, I'm too busy.
Yeah, your competition goes way down as well. So we've talked a lot about that. That's why we're, as a group, everyone is working towards expediting these paving programs. So they're both in great position, especially after you've authorized the pavement management program. This goes through, then we can push both of these, get them into the bidding war world and see what we get.
Thank you. Hearing no further discussion, then all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And if I could just go back to the previous motion regarding the 2015 road payment program. I'm not sure if it was discussed while I was out of the room, but I have these two copies. One's dated 2/9, one's dated 2/23. Which one are we?
The 223. That was the one that was revised based on our meeting and some comments and input.
So these are the bids are going to be for all of these number ones.
Just the million paving streets.
Well, we're gonna put out a bid for the million paving and the rejuvenator, and I think we'll work in-house on the crack sealing, right? You'll do the crack sealing work, or
No,
will we bid that?
We're gonna bid that out.
We're gonna bid the crack sealing. So there'll be three, they can be three separate contracts, but there'll be one paving program to do all of the work on the 223 list. The
Okay.
29 list is just milling and paving, but the 223 list has the other types of maintenance work on it.
Thank you.
So we're moving ahead with the 223, just to be clear.
Okay, then, moving on, I'll entertain a motion to approve final payment number 2 to Shake Hog in the amount of $634.40 for the joint O&M preventative maintenance year 4 project as recommended by Gateway Engineers.
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Moving on then to the asphalt paver sale. I'll entertain a motion to approve the advertisement to solicit bids for the sale of the asphalt paver for an estimated value of $5,000 for best offer.
So moved.
Any discussion? We have this for sale and we're selling it?
Yeah, there was actually a motion a year or two ago, price sold for $7,500. We had no bids, no calls.
So Rob, what?
Yeah, the paver itself, I mean, I understand the thought of having a paver in the borough, but the paver that's down there, it's actually too big, too large. I had a heavy equipment specialist come down and take a look at it, just to give me an evaluation of the paver itself, and his recommendation was to sell it. Size of the paver just a little bit too big, and the condition of it's a little too rough right now to even think about using on the
So
borough
we're
streets.
not using it.
No, I'm not really, I think the last time they used it was on that one alley they had. Just a little bit too big for the borough streets. I understand the process and the reason why for purchasing it. This time, my recommendation is to sell it for $5,000 or best offer.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion, then all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Do we have any additional citizens' comments? There wasn't anyone signed up.
Yes. Senior Citizen Dinner coming up March 14th. Doors open at 5 o'clock. And they're gonna have some Irish dancers, because it's close to St. Patrick's Day. So how much is that dinner?
$7.
$7. Can't beat it. Lots of fun. Tickets at the borough office and library. No, borough office.
I just have to call before Tuesday
Okay.
to make reservations.
Senior dinner. That's all I have.
Anyone else have anything that they would like to share? Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.